Welcome to Racing Nuggets, the podcast. I'm PJ Jack Noodleman, along with Dan Plan from the Midwest Racing Connection, and we have a great guest today. He is known as the man of the people. It is Jeff Storm. Welcome, Jeff. Thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, thanks a lot for having me, you guys. I like doing this kind of stuff.
You're well spoken, that is for sure, and you've been around for a while too. Actually, Dan and I was chatting before we even started here about your beginnings.
Yeah, that's pretty neat story. Dan and I were just talking about. But yeah, I started 1987 at Lake Geneva Raceway, running a division's called the Weapons. So it was basically a stock car, bench seat. You welded a roll cage in and went and had some fun. Still ran glass windows and windshield anyway, but it was that's where I got going.
Now on your first mid-am car, I remember you had you always been 25, and that number had a paint scheme kind of like the Deachin's numbers on your mid-am car.
Yeah, that car that was actually the second mid-am sportsman type car we had. Actually, no, I take that back. That was the first chassis, and then I bought that car from Roger Regas. We wanted to go big time racing, so you buy the best one you can find. And Roger, the bearer, man, he win everything. So we bought that car, had a Buick body on it, ran it the first year, and things were changing as always in motorsports. That's why we're talking today. But everybody's going to they were buying cup bodies from down south and putting them on, so Luminas were pretty popular then. Well, I got a trickle body and I got it home, and man, that thing was heavy. I mean, holy cow, I wasn't expecting that. The daughters hauled it back from North Carolina for me. So I let that thing sit, and we went and got just the sheet metal, a Chevy Lumina sheet metal steel body. Long story short, welded it all on there and put it on there. And honestly, that would have been 1997, I think, 96 or 97, 95, 96, I don't know, somewhere in there. But honestly, did not know a whole lot about Larry Deachin's story. Okay. The way that car ended up the way it did, it was painted burgundy because I was sponsored by Waste Management, Southeastern Wisconsin down here, and Best Disposal, and their colors were burgundy. So I literally took it over to the container shop. We painted it burgundy in the container shop, brought it home, and my guy that lettered my race, everything was hand painted then. His name was Bob. He was from a little town down the road here. He did all my stuff, and he laid that number on the door. I'm like, oh, that's cool, So it was like the 3D looking thing, and the car was burgundy. The number was silver. I actually can walk out in the shop. I have that body up on the wall if you guys want me to. I could right here. But so we laid that thing out, and man, it looked cool, right? And I go to Kakana. We run the Mid-Am series. So then with Gary Vacotter, and we were at Kakana all the time. I mean, like, I had thoughts of moving there. We raced it so much, And my first time there with that car, Joan Wimmer came over to me just in tears and talking about the car. I'm like, oh my God. And I seen some pictures and it hit me. I'm like, oh my God. So I really, ever since then, I learned the history of Larry, and, here we're at Kakana, when all that happened. And I'm like, oh my God, it's like, I kind of felt small. Wasn't really a tribute to Larry, but after I learned about it, the whole time I ran that car, it was always a tribute to Larry, and to be at Kakana with that thing was pretty special to me, and if there's such a thing as trying extra hard at a race, I tried pretty damn hard to win there, especially with that. So that's kind of the backstory on that. I mean, it was a great tribute to Larry Deachin's, but it didn't start that way, but it sure ended that way.
Cool.
That's cool. Do you want to walk out and show it? Yeah. I think that would be kind of cool if you could do that.
Absolutely, I can do that. We'll get it. I got it up on the wall. I say when we sold that car, I cut the body off of it, and I Really wanted to save that thing, so I'll get it standing here by it. Let's pan up. I think I got Dale Earnhardt riding in it right now. There it is. So you see
nice.
The Waste Management logo on it there, Dale driving it. But yeah, there it is. It's that'll never leave my possession. I mean, it don't mean anything to anybody, but it sure means a lot to me, and that's why I chopped it off of there.
I love it.
You know, it's I know it looks like a Deachin's car, but that was actually our old Mid-Am car, our body anyway.
Wow. And your first one at that.
Yeah, absolutely. That was our first like touring type sportsman car. Absolutely.
What was it that got you into racing anyway, Jeff?
God, when I was a little kid, little dirt track down the road, Wilmot. But I know Dan knows about that place, but my uncle raced there. Randy, I'm looking around the shop to see if I got that car here anywhere. I know I got an ashtray. You know how they used to make pictures and stuff, and you know they put them in ashtrays and stuff. I think I got an ashtray around here somewhere with that thing in there. But my uncle Randy raced there. It was a 57 Chevy body with a 57 Chevy chassis with a 66 Chevelle body. Red and white car, white numbers, 25. And my mom and dad used to take me there. I was, you know, like honored to go there if I could, you know, and just a little kid watching racing. And I don't know, man. That's where the number came from. You know, when I grew up or got a little older, started drag racing. My dad was always into drag racing. You know, I did a little of that, and I just like, man, you know, I had a pickup truck, 15 seconds, it's over. You know, if you didn't win your round, it was over. So that kind of got old. And a buddy of mine was racing stock cars. So I went with him once and built one. And I think we were all in high school. We had 85, 86. We used to run these enduros. That was a big deal back then. We go over to Michigan and race for a lot of money. It was cool. So that's kind of where it started, running enduros and street stock stuff. And then I just kind of got into it running weekly down at Lake Geneva. You know, built you know, enduro cars get used up pretty good. So just built I think I had a 77 Chevelle Malibu. I wasn't fortunate enough to find one of the Monte Carlos, but them always kicked everybody's butt. But yeah, that's where it all started. Just kind of got sick of drag racing. I mean, it was fun, but it was like, boom, you only have one shot. Or circle track racing, well, you blew that corner and you got a few more laps to make it up and try to do better. So that's kind of what got me going.
Did that development at Lake Geneva ever come to take place? I know I'm bummed because I never made it to Lake Geneva. Went there once, but they rained out.
Yeah.
And then I know they tore the place down, but then they never did anything for years, right?
Yeah, it sat there vacant forever. And God, I couldn't even drive. It was on Highway H, and I couldn't even like drive by there. It would just drive me crazy, you know. So I would go the other way if I had to go down that way. I would not even go that way. But yeah, they eventually did. It's they started working on it. I don't know. I'm gonna say 5 years ago or so, and it's now like an old folks home or like maybe assisted living or elder care, something like that. Yeah. So you go by there now, it's not so bad because it's gone. But yeah, they did actually. You know, it's sat. But you're right, Dan. It's sat for. I bet it sat for 20 years. You know, they ripped the track out right away, took a bunch of bulldozers and tore that out. But yeah, you'd go by and this, you know, the stands, how the stands were there and on that hill of concrete, that was all still there. The barn, low places, man, the stories that place could talk, the two silos, man, that was something else. That was just something special, you know. On every racetrack, every guy, you go to State Park, the stories, you know, you walk in the gate there, it's like, man, the greats, this is where they raced every week, you know. And this, you know, kind of going into my story with the motor deal. And I know Bickle reached out to me and talked about how they used to make the rules of the golf course and over a cooler and, you know, whatnot. But them guys raced, you know what, 5, 6 nights a week, raced for a living. That's how they did it. And well, they came up with their program, and they were the show. They were the traveling circus. We still are these days, but now we got crap like this,
Well, let's roll into that then right now. Been watching your Facebook Live, and you have a YouTube channel as well. If you want to share a little bit about that, go ahead.
Yeah. So the YouTube channel, some of the crew and myself, like, I started watching this Hunt the Front gang. They're dirt racers out of Florida. And I watched them kind of from the beginning of their story. 2-car garage, 1 car, borrowed this, borrowed that. The success that they turned, I mean, it's just, they're young guys, but to watch them start with nothing to where they're at now, I mean, they're running World Outlaws stuff. I mean, XR series, they're running big time stuff with dirt stuff, and they did this all off their merch sales and their YouTube channel. So, I'm not, we do this for fun. They're very serious about it, obviously, but so my crew is like, Stormy, you gotta start a YouTube channel, and I know nothing about how to do any of that stuff. So hell with it. I bought a GoPro camera and just started doing content. And obviously it's pretty early stages, but the editing process, I know I talked to Bruce about this at Nashville, like it's so time consuming, and I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So, I learn as I go, but it's coming along. I don't know. I just did one here the other day, got the editing down pretty quick and posted it. And it's kind of learning more about how YouTube works. And I just changed the name of that channel. Honestly, it's now called the Deuce Nickel Diaries. So
I like that.
Look that up. I mean, and it came up with that name just because I'm going to do more than race cars. I mean, here's kind of one of my batches right here. Oh, God, ain't you pretty? So it's just more about my day-to-day stuff and kind of what goes on. I like doing the stuff in the shop here with the crew, because you can't do this by yourself. So them guys helping me, and we just got a new kid that came onto our team for this year. Oh my God, Dan Fredrickson is calling me again. I'm gonna He called me the other day in the middle of my recording my YouTube channel. So I had to edit that out. But where was I talking? Oh, the new kid that we got helping now. He said, I want to come along and help. And I said, well, you know what you're in for, right? I said, you're not going to have a summer. There's no, if that's what you want to do, it's a lot of time. Oh, no, I want to do it. I want to do it. So we'll see how that works out. He's, 22 years old, something like, lives right down the road from the shop. So that's convenient. So
that's great.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so hard to get guys to help.
Well, I think you could sell some merch, and you could do the cold snack time, because I thought that was pretty good. I would buy a shirt that says it's cold snack time.
Cold snack time? Yeah. Actually, that's kind of a ripoff of what was the guy's name? He's from Missouri, dirt racer. That's what he calls him. I have a cold snack. He's always in his shop with his cold snacks. So, and he drinks Coors Light. So I've actually ran into him a few times. I go to Fairbury, Illinois every year for their big event, that big dirt race. Dan, I don't know if you've been down to that, but man,
I've never been to that one. It's always one I'd want to go to.
Yeah, get on that. Oh my God. I think the Oktoberfest is great. That thing, it's the same type of deal. Man, they got stuff going on all the time. But I met him down there. Tim, I haven't watched him in a while, but that's what he calls him. So when I met him there, he's at his trailer in the pits. So Fairbury is a little town in Illinois. They're pretty strict on all their rules, So we're hanging out drinking beer by his race car. And we got in a little bit of trouble, but oh well, I didn't bring it. He brought it.
I think it'll be cool in a couple of years if Jeff Storm's retired in the Bahamas as a social media influencer. Just in the dough.
Retired, right? I told somebody the other day, I said, if I never went racing, I'd probably be retired by now. Because I'm not a dummy, but I am a dummy, so I went racing, but I'd have never met cool guys like you, Dan, yourself, PJ, and Toby, and all the people you meet racing. Man, oh man, this is like year 35 for me, but so cool. All the people and the friends I've made over the years racing. You can't take that away from you.
Well, and you're well respected as well too. I know I was helping out with the LTN hour last 2 years ago for the Snowball Derby.
Oh yeah.
And everyone was just, I mean, the entire Midwest was cheering for Jeff Storm when you made it in on time. That was pretty amazing.
Yeah, probably one of the most dramatic things I've ever done in my life. I mean, it wasn't supposed to go down that way, but it did. Man, that was something for our little team right out of, I mean, I just walked through the shop there. I mean, ain't nothing special. To go down there, we hired nobody. I mean, I had Chris Weinkoff as my crew chief, Brad Miller as my driver coach, my regular crew guys. There was no, I mean, obviously I have a Fury chassis. Jeff Foltz was there. Oh yeah, I'll help you. Yeah, I know how that goes down. He had 2 or 3 cars there. It's like, it's just, he didn't have any time. I mean, yeah, he would talk to you, but I mean, we were on our own. So to do that was pretty cool. I know you've been down there, and it's a, man, we tested the Sunday before. We were gone 9 days. I was so proud of our guys, so proud of our little team to make that show. We didn't show shit in the race. We started off way tight, and that's the way it goes. But just to make that event, I'd been there multiple times. I used to go with Scott Hansen in the Gunderman days. Scott would drive, and I'd be his crew guy. But back when the tire soaking was going on, the bodies, were just all tricked out, and they kind of went away from that stuff. And recently was there 2 years ago with Johnny DeAngelis, and he made it the year I went with. He made it. It was just a neat deal. So for us to go down there, load our stuff up, borrow a trailer. I borrowed Jay Vandergeest's trailer, took my truck, all our race equipment, one race car. That's what we have, one race car. And to go down there and do that, man, that was something special. And like I say, we didn't, I think we finished 21st or something. Ran all the laps. I mean, I finished 2 laps down, but we made them all and made the race and did what we wanted to do, is make it in that show. I mean, I watched it this year, like, I'm nervous sitting here watching on my phone qualifying on Friday night. Why? I'm not even there. It doesn't affect me, but it's just something special to experience. And boy, oh boy, man, that was something. And for it to come down right to the end, I remember, the reason I was sitting on the door of the race car, they wouldn't let you out of you could not step foot out of your race car after qualifying. They're pretty picky. No crew members around. So I didn't know. I'm looking across the pits to my crew guys, like, where are we at? They're trying to give me thumbs up, thumbs down. And it was getting down to the end, that camera crew came down there. And that's the only way I knew. When they came down, I'm like, where are we at? And they're like, 2 to go, and you're still in. I'm like, last car. I'm like, oh my God. And then what was his name? The guy that runs the racetrack, Southern Super Series, Tim, help me out here, guys. Tim Bryant's son was the last car to go out, and he had white wheels on his race car. And I thought to myself, ain't no kid with white wheels going to beat me. I'll never live that down. And he didn't. But when he was on the track, I knew he was local. I knew he was Bryant. I knew he was the promoter's son. So he's on the track doing his lap, and I have my back to the stands. I'm kind of toward turn 4. And he does his first lap, and the crowd cheers. Because, that first lap, that first time lap's actually your second lap's your money lap. So the kid does his first lap, time lap, and the crowd cheers. I'm like, we didn't make it. And they come around again, and they're all cheering, and I'm like, and the TV crew's like, no, you're in. I turn around. It's all the Wisconsin fans. They were cheering for us. It was so cool. It was so cool. That's all the cheering was, them guys for us. So that was so neat, man. But I'll tell you,
I've only been there twice, and it it just blew me away the first time I went there, how many people and how vocal they are for qualifying, right? You never see that. Even at NASCAR races these days, people really aren't that interested in qualifying anymore, but that's a big part of the show. And of course, I've been there twice and I've yet to see the race because it rained both times.
Yeah.
And the one year I flew home on Tuesday, but the race got rained out Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. They ran it Wednesday night. So
oh my God.
I still haven't seen it in person.
Yeah, that's the chance you take. Florida that time of year, we were really lucky the year 2 years ago we raced. Everything went normal and raced the day we're supposed to race. So, and we were grateful for that because unfortunately we had to come back here to reality and go back to work. So,
right. So, do you think you'll ever go down to the Snowball again?
Oh, we might. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Like, if a little more pressure if I go back, right? Well, you made it the first time. Well, if I don't, like, oh my God. But yeah, I don't know. It was really expensive to do. I can tell you that much. It was not a cheap date. Excuse me. It was not a cheap date. And the time away from home. I mean, we had planned that to go to that race in May of that year. So we had some sponsorship money lined up. We had everything in place. So it was well planned out. So it wasn't like, well, let's go do the Derby. No, you got to plan the shit out of that. So for us to do it again, I mean, it's going to be the same way. It's going to get planned out and it's going to be right. The biggest reason we went then, that was the first year we had a brand new Fury, and ran it 8-10 races here at home and then and took it down there. So honestly, when you go there, you see a lot of brand new race cars. It's kind of the way it is, Unfortunate, but it is the Derby. It's our biggest, it's the Super Bowl of short track racing in America, as far as I'm concerned. So I think, I don't know. Do I have another brand new car in my future? I don't know. I don't know.
Well, you never know with your social media taking off.
Right. That's the thing, I'm kind of the end of my driving these things, and that doesn't mean I'm going to be racing. This means maybe I won't be in the seat anymore, So we'll see how things go. I mean, that's going to be hard if we decide to do that, but we'll see. We'll just see how things go, and it's gonna, as well as anybody, it takes a lot of money to do this, so we're not just going to turn the reins over to anybody. So we'll have to see what we can come up with here. But if and when that happens, it'll certainly be public knowledge that this is my last year driving. So I haven't heard anything as that it's going to be this year or next year or when, but we'll see. I'm not that old. I'm old, but I'm not that old. So we'll see.
Well, I was a little concerned if you were going to pull the pin on everything after seeing your rant about the ASA Midwest Tour rules. So let's chat a little bit about that. I know it's the engine weight penalties that have you nutted up about.
Yeah, I mean, basically they didn't change the damn thing. As far as the engine weight rules go, it's been that way for the last couple of years. But what frosted me so much was back when we had a 9-1, we blew that thing up. We blew it up at the Dells, and everybody was there. And I want to push the car trailer and get everything put away. And some of the officials were like, what are you going to do? I'm like, what do you think I should do? Where are you guys headed? Well, we're really looking at the Southern Parts motor. So that's what we did. So if you could find it, I tried to look last night, see if I could find a copy of the rules just from last year. ARCA Midwest Tour rules from last year. And it said the preferred engine package on it was the parts motor. It said that the last 2 years. This year, it comes out. Just happen to have a copy of it right here. Preferred engine package, ACE, So I think the ACE motor is a good motor. I'm not against the ACE motor at all. Hell, I had one. We had multiple ACE engines. The problem I have is the weight break. I'll explain it this way. This isn't drag racing. So you want to slow something down with weight, go in a straight line. That's how they do it in drag racing. This is circle track racing. 50 pounds ain't going to slow the car down at all. Not until you get about 40, 50 laps on it. It doesn't slow it down the straightaway. You're defeating your purpose with weight to slow the car down if your issue is horsepower. I don't know if you follow what I'm saying here. If your issue is that the parts motor has too much power over the ACE motor, then maybe you should put a restrictor plate on it. But putting weight on it does not slow it down. Well, I've had fast time how many times, like hauling that weight. I've always hauled the weight. I've always been 50 pounds heavier. It goes back to in the mid 2000s. Our 9-to-1s were always weight penalized. So it doesn't do what they think it does. Yeah, it slows you down. It kills you. It kills you lap 60, 70, 50, sometimes depending on how your chassis stuff's going down, but it kills the corner. I mean, if you watch my video, I had a weight that I made years ago for Lumpy. God rest his soul. He was a good guy. He was passionate as I was about it, but I had a 5-pound weight that I made him wear around his neck at his roast. I'm like, it doesn't hurt at first, but man, after 5-10 minutes, you know what I mean? That's how the race car feels. It don't hurt at qualifying. It don't hurt at 10, 15, 20 laps. I'll give you a good example. I followed Gabe Summers at Madison last year. I don't know, it was a spring race or the mid-season race. Neither one of us made the show on time. That was on me, setup-wise, whatever. So we raced the last chance race. Him and I, both in it, first and second, bumper, nose to tail. We get in the race, same thing. We're starting 20, whatever. And I'm following through there right on his bumper. We're, clear by 1, 2, whatever. Where I'm just following behind him for that entire run. About 60 laps in, I come off a 4. I'm like, did I grab the wheel? Did I screw up, And he starts gapping me. Pretty soon he's gone by a straightaway. I've seen it firsthand multiple times. That's what it is. You're hauling that weight around. It's harder on the brakes. It's harder on the tires. Mostly harder on the tires. That's what weight does. Weight does not do what they intend it to do. They intend the weight to slow the car down. It does not slow the car down. It kills it late in the tire run. If that makes any sense to you. But that's what I'm trying to explain. So I can guarantee you that, I respect the hell out of the Summers group, Casey Johnson, Ty Majeski, all of them. I have no issue with these guys whatsoever. I am using them as an example. If you think that Gabe Summers' ACE motor is down on power to my Southern Parts motor, I'll kiss your batoot because it ain't. I'm just telling you, it ain't. They got good stuff. Go ahead.
I was gonna add in there, if the ACE motor is so down on power, why did so many guys take the ACE motor to the Milwaukee Mile?
Because of the weight break. There's a great example. Why did so many guys take an ACE motor to the Milwaukee Mile? Because of the weight break. I was one of the only damn fools out there with a Southern Parts motor, or I should say SSPE motor, however they call it. But because of the weight break. Look at any racetrack. Look at the straightaway and look at the corner. Look at the Milwaukee Mile. Look at the corner at the Milwaukee Mile. My God, 3/4 of that racetrack is turn. So there you go.
Right.
That's why they did it. And that's why everybody migrated to the ACE motors. And the story I was told 2 years ago, well, the ACE motor isn't winning, so we're going to give it a weight break. The Chevy ACE motor isn't winning enough, so we're going to give it a weight break. That's the story I was told. I hate weight breaks. I've always hated weight breaks. I always will hate weight breaks. It's stupid. If you look at the Stars Tour, the national tour, what they have going on, my God, it's going to be an expensive deal to do. But guess what? They're at Madison this year. That's going to be a Stars Tour race. When I roll out the door of that shop to go to that race, I'm going to feel pretty damn good because I'm going to weigh 2,800 pounds, just like everybody else with their ACE motor or whatever they got. That's what they're going to weigh. They're going to put a 4-barrel on it. They're going to weigh 2,800 pounds, just like the Deuce and Nickel out here. So I'm at least going to feel good about going there. Like I got as good a shot as anybody. And And I really hope, I talked to Danny about this the other day at Frederickson, and I said, man, I can't wait to get there, to get to that race. You and I have a legitimate great shot of winning that thing. Guess what? We're the same as everybody else. We're not penalized weight. That ain't even going to be an issue. Slinger National, same thing. Andrew 250, same thing. These are going to be some really interesting races that I really want people, and I'm going to stress it on the YouTube channel as well. I was so upset the other night. I went Facebook Live, and I don't know, I got a lot of my business people that follow me on there, and they're like, you were a little upset. I'm like, yeah, I got a kind of passion about racing, but whatever. But that's what the YouTube channel's for. And, I'm going to stress that to people to pay attention to them races where that weight is equal and to see how that goes down. Obviously, we're going to have to race against the likes of Donnie Wilson and James Finch, and them big groups are going to be running that deal, but they're going to be running that deal in our backyard, and we've always beat them in our backyard. So I'm excited for them 3 races. I'm very excited for. I don't know if I can commit to the Gander 250 yet, just because it's a school night and it's hard for us, but we will see. I mean, we're going to do Slinger, and that's a school night, so I don't know. We'll figure it out. But that first one at Madison for the Joe Shear Classic, man, can't wait. The first time, and I bet you 10 years, I'm going to run that race where we're the same weight. So, and then we always qualify good. We usually run right up front, But again, like I said in my video, I'm not doing this anymore, leaving my shop knowing like, oh, we're going to have to be satisfied with 7th, 8th place finish. I'm just not doing that anymore. It's not fair to my sponsors or the people that support us. So excited to do that first gig there at Madison for sure.
Well, that will definitely be the litmus test to sort of show everybody that probably should just leave the weights across the board the same for everybody.
Yeah, the biggest thing with that deal is the 4-barrel. I mean, you're going to put a 750 on these things, and we're gonna find out who can manage the rear tire better. That's for sure.
Right?
That's what's going to go down. It's so funny at Madison. I was just telling somebody, like, you can't believe how much I was telling James Swan is my tool guy here at the shop, and I was telling him, like, you can't believe how much the car slows down because you're out there practicing, you're trying to run that lap and you're going as hard as you can. And when you get in that race, it is like you're parking the damn thing. You're slowed down so much. And they're like, you want to quit? And the crew's like, you're running 5th, dude. You ain't quit. Like, we're fine. You're going with the same group backwards, but you're all running right there, so it's crazy how much it slows down. So 4-barrel, this is going to be fun. That's
what racing should be. It should be about the driver putting some things in the driver's control with having to run that throttle like there's an egg under it.
Absolutely. I've always said it, fire coming out of the exhaust, glowing red hot rotors, 4 barrels, and loud as shit. And, it's a super late model, man. Let's go.
Are you getting a chubby right now?
It's kind of personal, isn't it? It does fire me up for sure. I mean, I was pretty happy to see that. And then in the same sense, really disappointed to see what they did up here for the Midwest Tour. And I get why they did that. I understand it. I mean, we have great racing in Wisconsin. You cannot deny that. Go to Plover State Park. And to my mind, them aren't super lates, but they call them that, so we'll call them that. But look at all the racing. Jefferson. Did you ever go to Jefferson on a Saturday night? They don't race super lates there, but everything from the 4-cylinder class to the late model class. It's great entertainment. So look at the good racing we have in Wisconsin, all the good car counts we have. So I get it. You don't want to upset that. And I don't think that they should have went, 4-barrel, that's it. You ain't going to have anybody racing. Okay, I don't think they should have done that. But I certainly don't agree with their stupid-ass weight break. Just make it the same. And I stress that. Talk to Joe Balish. Talk to his group at Nashville, stressed that. That was my biggest complaint. Why don't you run the tour? This is why I don't run the tour. I don't run a lot of tour races. Look what we did at lacrosse this year. That was like winning the fucking championship for me. Pardon the French, but it was like winning the championship for me up there because I mean, I like to have a good time. Everybody knows that. Lacrosse this year, if I had 3 drinks the entire week, 4 or 5 days I was there, that's a lot. We worked our nuts off on that thing to get it as good as we can and ran 7th overall in the Dick Trickle. Pretty good day, right? But it's still 7th. Who gives a shit? I mean, that's my point. I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm not going to go to lacrosse and work that hard and be handicapped like that. I'm just in my opinion, it's not right. And whether I think it's right or not, don't mean I have to do it. So we're not going to do that kind of stuff anymore. We're just not.
I think we should lobby for a test. I like your restrictor plate idea. Run the same weight, but put some sort of restrictor plate on.
Well, if you're worried
about
that
at Elko, so we can get you to come to Elko.
Right? Yeah, that is on the schedule this year too, isn't it? Yeah. Elko Speedway.
I know they do that on by the dirt track closest to my house. They run. You can run. It's basically the Ace motor is the concept preferred motor, but you can run a World of Outlaws type open motor. But they make them run a restrictor plate. And I just, it made me think when you mentioned that, I'm like, well, yeah, that's what they do on the dirt. Why don't they do that on the asphalt rather than using weight as a horsepower penalty?
You know what? That's funny you say that. You ever go to a big dirt late model show? I know you do, Dan. You love them as much as I do. Man, you watch them pulling the carburetors off, stuffing the Weirzy restrictor plates down the intake manifolds. They have 850 whatever horsepower. They don't have any rules. I mean, that's a great example you said there, Dan. Like, look what the successful dirt late model series do. You do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Here's their rules. Here's their rules. There aren't any. They don't have any. And they got how many cars showing up? I mean, I disagree a little bit with you, Dan, on their purses. Yeah, they're big money. They're racing for big money, but that 8th place guy is still ain't doing so hot, Yeah. I got to set you guys down for 1 second. There, I'll just do it this way. Gotta get my fix. Here we go. But yeah, so that was my point on that. Do I want to restrict plate on my super late? Hell no, I don't think it's right. But if that's what their concern is, maybe that's what they should be looking at instead of this God bless it weight. That just irritates me. And I know, look at Toby. I mean, you think he's gonna go to all the races with Southern Parts Motor? Hell no, he's not. He's just, you do what you got to do. Unfortunately, they're in a situation where they can do what they got to do. So God bless them. I love racing against that group. Well, I just like to race fair against them. That's all. Instead of pointing, go this way, Ty, or go that way, Ty. I'll get out of your way because it sucks.
He, not that I want to speak for my husband because I would never do that, but he did say that he also felt that the weight should just be the same across the board because you're encouraging people to have to spend more money when you do that.
Yeah.
Because they're going to want to have whatever is going to give them the best chance.
Absolutely. My car owner texted me last night, and I won't repeat what he said, but because he's about as crazy as I am, but he's like, well, what's this going to cost us? I said, we ain't doing it, Scott. We're just not. We're not doing that, it's foolish. And I said it'll go against everything we're for, honestly. So the opportunity is there. If we really wanted to do it, we would. But what am I supposed to do with their plan? Their plan for the Southern Parts, $21,000. I can tell you that motor costed us brand new. So that was my 9-to-1. I used my oil pump off of it, and that was about it. I told him Paul Schwant and Dan Tim at AEC build our engines. When I took that 9-to-1 up there, it was all blowed up. Block was junk. I said, we'll pull the oil pump off and throw the rest of it right in Green Lake. That'll be a good fish aquarium down there at the bottom. Because she was junk. So we built that motor for $20,000 and change. That's what that thing is. And it's a big compression. I mean, it's a great idea. I don't know. But
Did I read that right? There's a claim.
There is, absolutely. Yeah, 24,000.
Has anybody ever claimed one, I wonder?
I think
John
if you do.
Senior did. John D'Angelo Sr. did. He claimed I think he tried claiming Luke Fenhouse's ace motor.
Oh,
But I don't think they have a claim on them. So, but yeah, he was walking around the pit area with a fistful of dollars. That's for sure.
Well, the good news is, and I guess we can call it this, the weight penalty could actually, I mean, if they think about it and they change their mind, that is something that they could change before the start of the season.
Yeah, think I influenced him at all.
I don't know. I can tell you just based on other people that I have heard, either my husband talked to or that I have, there's a lot of people who support what you're saying. So, and you are kind of the man of the people. So, I mean, if they're wanting to serve and continue to have good crowds, it might be something that they might consider. I'm not saying they will, but they might, I mean, it's a pretty easy fix.
Yeah, that's the big reason we didn't come out with a schedule yet. I've always ran the Alive for 5 there over by Jerry Aubie at the Dells. Great facility. Man, they've done such a nice job with that place. But anyway, we've always ran that deal. And like, my daughter's just got engaged. She's like, and God bless her. Dad, what's the schedule so we can plan her freaking wedding? And I haven't come out with it yet because I was waiting on. We honestly thought, man, maybe we'll run the Midwest Tour again. Maybe we'll give the season a shot. Well, now they come out with these rules, like we just freed up the time, baby. You want to get married in July? Go ahead. Plenty of time.
Down south, everybody is 2,800. At the Dells with Yuma, everybody's 2,750. Yep. So maybe the ASA Midwest Tour would look at that as an example and rethink what they have on the book.
I don't have stats written down here, but I guarantee you, I've seen a 5-3 win at the Dells Raceway Park in the UMA under the UMA rules on the Live for 5. I've seen a parts motor win. I've seen an Ace motor win. I've seen an LST engine win.
Yeah, if you want parity, you really need to keep it level.
Ryan Farrell and myself, we down here in southeastern Wisconsin, it's Ryan Farrell and myself. And, we can kind of throw DeAngelis in there too, I guess. But there's a handful of us down here we call it the Dirty South. I don't know. That Ryan Farrell came up with that. It wasn't my idea, but we were talking about that. I was like, why can't they see this? Why can't they see what's going on at the Dells Raceway Park? And I'll tell you something about the Dells. Yeah, it's a little 3/8 mile track, and you can talk to any driver that races there. You are on that loud pedal a long, long time, probably longer than anywhere. You are on the gas and you're on it hard. So, and I know if you've watched me race there plenty of times, but if I'm running 5th or whatever, and it's just like riding, I'll run the outside groove as much as I can. So every lap, I feel like I can do that. I saved a little bit for the end, That's the only way you can save at the Dells. You're on it hard. So when you talk about weight and all the different kind of engine combinations and race cars that have won there, it's across the board. It's a pretty even playing field. I remember the spring race last year, we finished second to oh God, he's right down the road from me too. Yeah, so that was you get a little old, you lose your mind. 38 car, 5-3. But I was going to finish third behind Casey Johnson, and Casey had his Ace motor, and I had my parts motor, and his spotter was telling him, clear by half over the 25, and it was like 65 laps in, and Casey was a little taken back by that. I'm like, well, guess what, buddy? We're even. It's the same on any given Sunday. It's a great movie, by the way. On any given day, it's that weight is a killer, and I cannot stress it enough. I know Toby knows it. I know a lot of smart guys know it, but I think a lot of these younger guys are a little naive to it, and they think, "Wow, that's how it should be." No, that's because it's like, I don't want to get political here. It's like listening to the left. They just keep pounding it in your head until you're pretty soon you're just a robot for them, and that's what's happening with the short track racing and their weight. Everybody thinks like that's the way that's what it should be. I don't know why Storm got that, $400,000, parts motor. I got this, $12,000 Ace motor. Guess what, buddy? You don't have the same Ace engine as Luke Fenhouse or Gabe Summers. You don't. Sorry. Go back to Norway. I said out loud.
I love your honesty, and I think that that's something that that people should pay attention to. I mean,
Well,
you do.
I've always, it's probably held me back maybe a little bit in any kind of a racing career, but I've always been that way. And I'm Stormy, and that's who you get, you know. I mean, especially now. I mean, how do you say that? I mean, I don't feel like, screw it, I don't care. No, I care. I care a lot. I'm passionate as shit about it. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. You know, I care about our sport. I went to Nashville. I helped the 2-car Michael Builder back. Now I'm just walking around there and just kind of like I was a paraplegic because I didn't know what to do with myself other than help on a race car. And I just love it. I don't know why. The older I get, the more I like it. I just love short track racing. And I don't think that'll ever go away. So very passionate about it. And I care a lot about Wisconsin short track racing. And it's kind of why I'm doing what I'm doing, you know, why I did what I did with the couple of videos I put out there. I'm hoping Mr. Balish and their group will listen a little bit. I know there's a lot of friction, a lot of crap going on with SRL and Ricky Brooks and all this. And we don't need that crap either, you know, but, you know, I don't know. I'm passionate for what I do, and when I'm right, I'm right. And I know I'm right on this one, and I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop harping about it. Or, you know, a lot of people, that guy just nothing but a whiner. We'll see.
Well, we definitely appreciate you sharing your thoughts with us and allowing us to kind of help amplify as well what you've said already. If folks want to follow your YouTube channel, what is that again?
Okay, so the name of the channel is called Deuce Nickel Diaries. DEUCE. I was corrected on that, by the way. It's not the way I spell it, but that's how it's spelled. DEUCE Nickel Diaries. Look that up on YouTube. I think if you just search my name, you'll find it too. But yeah, every time I put a video on, I would always share it on my Instagram and Facebook page so that people know about it. And let's try to grow this thing. So tell your friends, man. And like I say, I'm not trying to, you know, I got a nice little successful small business down here. I'm not trying to I'm going to retire. No, not at all. I want people to hear what I'm saying. That's all. And we do some fun stuff too. Honestly, I'll give you a little insight here on the Racing Nuggets program. We're going to try to do one night working on the car, and I'm going to have a live band playing. The hell.
That's cool. I love it. Well, Jeff, thank you so much for taking time to chat with us.
Yeah, you bet. Thank you guys. Thanks for having me on. And anytime, I'm happy to do this. I love this kind of stuff.
You're very good at it.
Thank you. That's cool.
Take care.
All right. We'll see you guys. Thank you.